Hello everyone, I'm Silent Death, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Space Engineers, episode 21. I've done a lot of mining between episodes. A lot of mining. Enough to watch the entire season of Firefly and the Serenity movie, and listen to a Discworld audiobook, and watch about a season and a half of Stargate S2E21, all while I was mining. Well, while I was mining and building things, such as ships. I have tweaked the design of our miner here. Frame rate is rather low right now. Some of the mods are causing problems. So here is what it looks like now. I added these little letters here, which I think look very, very good. The B.A.M Mark II. I downgraded the thrusters to Tier 2 and added all these exterior lights so that we can see where we are when we're mining in a tunnel or something. Was having a little bit of trouble seeing how much clearance I had. I also downgraded the engines because the engines that we had were just a little bit too much. Just a little tap would slam me into the side of a wall and break everything. When we were empty anyway. And I've crammed it full of cargo containers. While the previous version could hold 14 million kilograms, or could lift 14 million kilograms. It couldn't hold but a few thousand. This, on the other hand, has about 600,000 units of cargo, and the ratio cargo to mass is 2.7. So, you know, about 1,800 or 17 something. 1.7 million-ish. We'll say that. 1.7 million-ish. Mass of cargo. So 1.7 million units of ore per run. And there's just... I used something like more than 300 small cargo containers. Just cramming them in wherever there was space. I also got rid of the wireless power transmitters that were back in there. Replaced those with cargo containers because since we downgraded the engines, we did not need the extra power. It can in fact hover on just battery power, even mine a little bit on battery power. I mine the uranium to actually fuel it, just running off battery power. It's a little bit hard to move in more than one direction if you're running on battery power though. So I've quickly filled that up with uranium. We've gotten quite a lot of uranium. I don't know if it's all been refined yet. We're still refining 80,000 uranium. $6 million stone, 0.8 million ice. And let's see, we have 573 uranium just sitting right here. So we have plenty of uranium. Uranium for days. We also got some magnesium. We had to mine through magnesium to get to uranium. Being that we had magnesium, we made a few bullets. So we can get into some combat here in a little bit. Unfortunately, we still cannot make rockets because they require platinum. I also built our B.A.M, our big ass miner, which was a bit of a challenge. Because it doesn't exactly fit inside of a garage welding platform area. More to the point, part that doesn't get welded is the driver's seat. That was a challenge. off. But, oh, and also when I disconnected it, it fell down and mushed our other projector, our small ship projector. Got crushed right here. At least it didn't completely disconnect this, so that we can just rebuild that pretty easily. And I had to cut out those little ramps right there just so I could fit the wheels in. However, we did get it built. You can see it over there. I made some changes to that. Let's go look at those. The biggest change is I swapped out the pistons for some hinges. The pistons were just breaking like at the slightest provocation. Sometimes I would just load into the world and the thing would just be laying there beside it. They would just break just from loading the world, which was not good. Not good at all. However, getting these hinges merged together was a pain. Was a major pain. I ended up having to turn off block damage and then built a big long just line of blocks, because you know, speed, the farther it is from the pivot point, the faster it will be going. And then just ram the two together to partially constructed merge blocks, because if they're partially constructed they don't have the little teeth and they fit together easier that way. I was finally able to get these merged. I think it took like 2 hours to get them merged though, and get all these built. I also added this row of connectors, and all of these are set to take stone and throw that out. The problem is if we get too much stuff stuck in these drills, the hinges will not be able to lift it. And I've set up an LCD here. First, let's go look at what we mined. It is dark. It's been like dark forever. It just seems to stay dark. It was getting dawn when I started this recording, and then suddenly decided it wanted to be dark. Let's see if we can at least see what we mined so far. Hopefully we can. I also picked up some more ores when I was driving it with its bigger ore scanner. There's some uranium and gold under here, which I only thought there was iron here. But you can see we started mining there, and we mined all the way to here is where it filled up. And this is where I had to dump the ice. I had to dump the ice so that the hinges would pick up. Uh-oh. It's my oxygen critical. Take off my helmet. Let's fly back over to our vessel, and I'll show you some other changes I've made. Over here, I've changed the cargo used just to be the cargo containers. Before it included the drill cargo space too, which was less than ideal. I've also added this maximum hinge mass. So that's how much weight the hinges can lift in 1G. You can see we're about full. And mining, we've picked up 20.5 million ice. That's how much the cargo containers can hold. Plus another 3.9 million in the drills themselves. So we have about 24.5 million ice. That is enough for quite a large space program, I think. Unfortunately, the problem is we have 24.5 million ice and not an overabundance of places to put it. So today, we're going to look at building a sort of storage facility for our ice and hydrogen. I've tried to pick which one would be the most space efficient. And, as you may or may not know, hydrogen tanks are not affected by your inventory settings, so they have a constant amount. The large block hydrogen containers, per block, not per tank, but per block, hold about 102 kilograms of ice per block. while cargo containers hold 422,000 kilograms at inventory times 10. So you can figure that out, that if you're running at inventory times 1, hydrogen tanks would hold more hydrogen than the ice, but anything higher, and cargo containers are better for storing ice. However, what I think we're going to do is have both a large hydrogen area and a large storage area, and I think we're going to go underground with that. That is my current intention anyway. Maybe just going straight under this, or we could build an igloo and then just have it underneath, go straight down very, very far. Because as you saw, we only mined out one strip, and that was 24.5 million. And the iron is another 50 meters down. Each strip is about 5 meters. So it's going to take a little bit, just a little bit of ice. We, of course, are not going to be keeping the stone, but we do want to keep the ice because we're going to use it eventually. So we want to come up with something that... I think we're going to use the same base as the small igloo here. Sort of, probably. That leaves us with a bit of a walkway between. And then just kind of cram it full of tanks and containers. Maybe have 2 separate storage facilities. I haven't decided on that. Part of me wants to build like a big grain silo type thing, but I'm worried that I might accidentally crash into it. Because, you know, when that thing's full of all that ice and stuff, it does not stop very easily. Or at all. Unless you run into a tree, of course. If you run into a tree, it pretty much comes to a dead stop. If you try to use the brakes, you know, you're going to need 500 meters or so to stop. At least. Trees are incredibly strong. Alright, I'm going to hop over to creative mode and see if I can't figure out exactly what I want to design. And then we'll come back and we'll build it and hook it all up. We're back. So for the cargo containers, I just pretty much dug straight down underneath our cargo area and plopped down a whole bunch of cargo containers. Pretty basic. There's 18 cargo containers down here with room to expand if I need to. And I'm not really doing anything fancy with that. It's just, you know, some straight walls and stuff. I won't even leave an access way to get down here. I'll just completely seal this off. And we will forget that it exists there. It'll just kind of be hidden down there, holding all of our extra ice. For the hydrogen, I've designed a silo because it wasn't that tall. However, it has only a one-way path through. So just going straight through, it doesn't have a T-section, like the other structures we have. So what we're going to do is we'll build the assembler igloo here. Then we're going to put a double length of tunneling out here. And we'll build the silo over here. And this rock just randomly showed up after the latest patch. It was not here before. It's just a random rock. And our B.A.M over there is doing a wheelie since I reloaded the map. But one thing about using hinges is I can now use the B.A.M to take care of rocks. Probably. I hope. I think. And smooth them out. So what I'm going to do is I'll weld this. I went and did a little bit of mining. Well, a lot of mining. Got a full load of iron and stone in our B.A.M Mark II. So we can build this, and we should have enough iron to build the igloo. Not the igloo, but the silo. After that, we need to figure out how we're going to offload the ore from that. These little landing platforms are too small for its wheelbase. I could build another one out here, but I don't really want to. One like right here, kind of. A really giant one. I mean, it might work, actually. I don't think the ground's level enough, though. Because this wheelbase is a little bit bigger than this. It's about one block on either side bigger. So if I kind of flared this out a little bit, then put a connector in the center, I could drive up on it, and then drive off and go around. Though there's the the holes over there, so I'd have to go around it that way and out and over. So I'm thinking maybe I want to put the docking for that somewhere over here. This is already going to be a little bit above, so we can run some tubing over this way, dig down, come up over here, maybe even behind our garage a little bit, and put something out in this direction. I have to be careful about these, our previous tunnels. But yeah, I think we'll probably end up putting it somewhere over here. I'm worried about crashing into our future CIC igloo or our garage. That would be a little bit expensive. So I want it to be a fair distance away, but not too far. You can see one of our solar panels broke off. This happened when we were doing the scouting episode. I used the cheat thing to change the time of day, and those just kind of wobbled around trying to chase the sun. I forgot that I had those. I probably should have turned them off before I did that, but, well, it happened. It's done. Right, so I'll be back after I get welding to show you the silo. Here we are, several hours later, and we've made a big giant speed bump. A heavily armored speed bump at that. Right in here we have our connector with a piston. Underneath that we have some conveyor blocks. What I did was I dug down here, went and put a GPS waypoint over there, and this kind of dug straight towards the waypoint for certain values of straight, namely those pursuing a promising career in politics. Now, is that new music? That is the game music, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that track before. Or maybe I have, just not that part. Over here we have, well, you see this connects straight up to the rest of our network. Comes up there, comes through here, and connects up to everything that way. This will all be hidden under the floor of our big CIC igloo. So go towards the hydrogen silo. So we built what's going to be the assembler silo, or assembler igloo here. And this is the hydrogen silo. Not very tall. Made good use of this more armored ramps mod here. That gives us kind of conversion pieces. The 3-to-2 one right here. A fair number of tanks. 6 on each side, so a total of 12. Some lights in here. We're using the platform conveyors to come in and go under, so you can't actually see the connection. We didn't go underground. It's all above ground. Then if we go outside, we can take a look at this from outside. This is what it looks like. Looks a little bit insectoid to me. Something like a beetle maybe, with the little spiky things there. But that is our hydrogen silo. Lots of the more armored ramps mod in there. And over here that I forgot to mention, don't crash, don't crash. Ooh, that was close. Right here we're also using a mod. This is the blast door section mod. So we have edge insert and then just a black doors, blast door block side insert. So these four blocks are, these blocks around our connector here are actually these modded blast door blocks. They're only inset on this one side, and the other side they're a full block. The other several sides, 5 sides. Which allows us to have this little connector here without it bumping into the sides like you would normally do if you tried to do a full kind of block here. And we don't have to leave a big ugly gap. And I think that mod is actually quite useful. Extremely useful, in fact. One thing we are going to have a problem with is monitoring this. Thinking maybe I can put like a camera here or here. Might work out. Possibly. I guess that could work. It'd be a little bit ugly. Not as an ideal location. Maybe I could put a camera like down here somewhere. Maybe down under there. Just to help me connect to this. But the idea is we will of course pull up to here, connect up, and then back out. Because the slope here is just not very steep. And we don't want this to bounce very much because we don't want to damage our drills. That's less of a problem now that we added the hinge. With the pistons, any kind of tap to the drills will just snap them right off. Though I still think that this little slope down here is maybe a little bit on the steep side. And yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can't unload this. Put that in there. Go into spectator mode so that we can see. Since we don't have a camera set up. And let's see, what did I call that? Get the B.A.M piston. Doesn't need to be too high. Really, I could probably do this with only about a block and a half, maybe. Okay. And that should work. Switch to that way. Hard to see. Tires in the way. I might want to bump up the strength of these. Please don't crush the piston. Over it. It's hard to tell. Let's get a different view. Yeah, we're definitely going to need a camera, I think. not connecting. Probably because we're a little bit crooked. Trying to get backwards. You don't go backwards as easily because we don't have a big giant thruster facing that way. Well, okay, I think y'all have seen people connect things before. You don't need to watch me do this. Between episodes, we're going to be doing a whole lot more mining. I think it's because we lined up wrong. Probably have to back up and redo this. Right, we'll do a whole lot more mining. Hopefully get enough iron to finish our big igloo. There we go. Monitor this. Hopefully we'll get all that ice out. Right, get enough whatever to finish our big igloo and add some more assemblers, add some more refineries so that we can refine everything and do all that nice stuff. After that, I don't know what we'll do the next episode, or the next episode after the next episode. The episode after next. There's one or two options. So one, we could do combat. Go over there and take out our horrible neighbors with the police brutality that they did to us and damaged our solar panels a few episodes ago, several episodes ago. Or we could try going towards space. On the one hand, I am really kind of wanting to blow some crap up. On the other hand, without platinum, we can't make any rockets. So we'd be stuck with just bullets. And bullets aren't very explodey. On yet another hand, if we do take that out, we'd probably get some platinum. Of course, we could also get some platinum from orbit. And if we go into orbit, there's probably going to be some combat. So it's, 6 of one, half a dozen of another. I haven't decided. Let me know which one you want. I'll probably ask again in next episode. There's a few things we need to do before we get into either of those. I think probably a few scripts I'm working on. There's also the automatic inventory sorting script needs some work done to it. If you don't know, it's kind of broken right now. There's some bugs in it introduced a couple of patches ago, and the mod author does not seem to be updating it. It does technically work, but it's throwing a whole bunch of errors and I think slowing down the game a little bit. I may look into that and see if I can't fix it myself. Hopefully it's not too much of an issue. You can see right now we should be pulling out all of the ice, but it isn't. See, all these are just ore, so that means they should be the lowest priority. While our large cargo containers have ice there, and I think everything else is ice, tin, and stone tin, so they should be pulling in like everything. And I don't know where they're not. Because the mod isn't working right, that's why. But that's going to be it for this episode. Sorry for rambling a little bit there at the end. Like if you like. Subscribe. Okay, there it went. It pulled all the ice out now. Subscribe if you're not. Leave a comment if you have anything to say. I do read all comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.